Hey everybody, welcome to week 3 of World Geography Distance Learning Edition. I am your host, Mr. Webb. I'm going to try and give you guys maybe the shortest video I'm going to record this entire quarantine. It's super quick. Your homework's also not that bad. It is the map activity that we always do. We'll figure it out. So, goals for today. You're going to figure out how critical water is in Southwest Asia, as well as how important discovering oil was in Southwest Asia. So, before we go, let's review for a second. So, remember how Southwest Asia is in line largely with the Saharan Desert. So, convection is going to play a huge role in Southwest Asia. We see that there's a couple of big peninsulas here, the Anatolian Peninsula and the Arabian Peninsula, and that you have major deserts in both of these places. What you also see is very elevated places. So again, high mountainous plateaus, high mountainous plateau, high mountainous plateau. You also see that there are different climate zones. So we have a major desert, semi-arid area, and straight Mediterranean up along here and in through here right along the coast. Because it is so dry there, water is extremely rare. There's plenty of seawater along the peninsula's coast, but there's no real fresh water. And so what water is there, you have to control. And pretty much since the founding of like civilizations in the Middle East is just one of the oldest areas in all of the world for civilizations. They have worked on trying to control water. So they have used these things called canals, which you see here in the top picture, um, where people would build, like cut man-made rivers, and they would put like little dams next to them. And they would also have since developed in Israel something called drip irrigation. So it's literally a hose with holes in it at certain spaces, and it literally drips drop by drop water down onto the plants. So that way you lose very little of it to evaporation, and very little of it isn't absolutely necessary. It's pretty amazing actually how well it works. To show you how important irrigation and controlling of the water is you get Hammurabi's code. Now, Hammurabi was a ruler thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, and he was the first person to codify or to write down a code of laws. And this is what it looked like. It shows Hammurabi up here sitting in his chair, wearing the hat of wisdom, talking to a scribe, telling him to write down these laws, and they would post these all over town so people knew what the laws were. There's two big laws that Hammurabi came up with. If a man neglects to maintain his dike or his dam and does not strengthen it, and a break is made in his dam and the water carries away the farmland, the man whose dike had broken shall replace all the grain that had been damaged. If you're a farmer and you didn't upkeep your dam and it broke, you are on the hook for everything that you lost. If you cannot replace that grain for somebody else, they'll sell you and all of your goods into slavery. So they'll sell everything, your family, your farm, and you yourself, and whatever money they make from the sale of you and your family, they divide up and will hand out to everybody else. That just goes to show you how important it was that people maintain the canal and the dam. If it wasn't perfectly maintained and something bad happened and people lost money, you literally were sold into slavery to cover it. Another really important natural resource is oil. So millions of years ago, there were plants and animals that died, and they kind of like rotted into oil underneath, which is a way oversimplification of it. Um, underneath, like a swamp was there in short, and underneath the land, and through pressure in certain circumstances, it created oil. So in the Middle East, there are large deposits underground of oil, but we call that crude oil. So when they take this crude oil out from the sea or out from the land, it has to be carried out, then processed in a refinery, then moved over and broken down into different types of fuels. So you have like gasoline, jet fuel, all these different types of oil products like get processed. So a gigantic barrel of crude oil doesn't really sell for that much. That's like 60 bucks. It can get up higher than that. It's really where it gets processed and makes money is through the refining process. It's ridiculously dangerous because what happens if you're on your way from the refinery to a jet fuel depot and it springs a leak? That's jet fuel. What if a terrorist decides to blow up one of the pipelines? It doesn't make a small mess, it's massive. And so what you see is a lot of times terrorists don't blow up these crude oil deposits, they try to attack these refineries. And these refineries are where a lot of wealth is held. Um, for the most part, foreign companies for a long time owned these refineries in the Middle East. And that's part of the reason why you see so much anti-Western like talk in the Middle East is because a lot of the wealth that was created in the Middle East was taken out of the Middle East by Western companies that came in, made these refineries, took the oil for their own use, and the Middle Easterners saw very little wealth because of it. So you guys are going to go after you watch this video and take the quiz. You're going to go into the assignments, and there's a link there, which you see right here as well, for your map. It's a different program than what we've been using, but it's very similar. What it does is you will go through everything, and then in the upper left-hand corner, there's a percentage. What you have to do is you have to take a screenshot of your best score. So if you want to take it 1,000 times to get that 100%, be my guest. I love it. If you take it one time and you happen to know everything the first time, great. Please don't cheat. Try to actually do a little bit of it. As you guys know, you don't have to do it that many times to get it perfect. When you get it perfect, take a screenshot of it. You'll have to look on your own specific computers, like you have to Google it, how to do it. I know how to do it on mine. There's a million different things. You can use a snipping tool, whatever. You just copy and paste that into a Google Doc and submit that to me. That's your guys' assignment for the week. So again, after you watch this, take your quiz, go on here, go to that link, do your map quiz, and then let me know if you have any questions. If not, guys, that's it. Just remember how important water is in the Middle East, how important controlling it has been, and oil is a dangerous but valuable resource.